TJ guy didn't play at all on Saturday. What's his status? And then what did you like when you watched the film from the edge players specifically?
Yeah, TJ's fine. Just using a game plan, a heavy run team, and so we wanted some bigger bodies in there on that, but no issues with TJ. And he understands it. He's a complete team player, and all good with it. I thought the edge guys, they're getting better every week. I don't want to get out over my skis and say elite, but when you look at that room and you see number 8, you see number 1, you see number 9, occasionally you see 23, you see number 4, you see 33. I don't know. It's not the best. It's awful close to it, right? Deep experience, twitchy, good football players, and very, very selfless kids.
We'll stay on the left there with Chris.
Got to ask about Rod Moore. Sharon said he might play last week. Is any chance that he plays this week? And then also your 2 offensive guards.
Yeah. Can I discuss any of that?
Yeah, I think you could.
Rod is really progressing well, and we're going to arm wrestle after this. But Rod's progressing well. Could have played this past week, but I really think you'll see Rod this week at Nebraska. And the 2 guards, you're talking about Gio and Brady, we think there's a real good chance Brady will be back. And, practicing this week and back. And Gio's going to be a little bit longer, but will return, a couple weeks.
Can you talk about how Jake Guarnera played in his first start?
He played awesome. He's a strong, smart, physical kid, and he played really well.
More over here to the right. Where's Austin? Yeah, we're Austin.
Biff, can you just describe how you initially got connected with Michigan football and what's brought you back here again?
Well, as you know, I was a head high school coach for a long time, and Michigan was always recruiting our players, and my son Henry played here, and when Jim Harbaugh came in. This is a hilarious story, actually. I'm in my house. We have a kind of a little church group Bible study on Wednesday night, and I leave my phone with my daughter, and I said, only interrupt me if it's one of the children. There's blood involved. And she comes down and she says, "There's a guy named Jim Harbaugh on the phone." I was like, "What?" So I, of course, thought it was a joke. I pick it up. Walk outside, and he goes, "Hey, Biff, it's Jim Harbaugh." "Hey, Jim, how you doing?" He goes, and we just started talking about Michigan football. He said, what do you think our record would have been last year had we punted the ball more? I was like, "Jim, I don't know." And we just started talking ball, and he said, "Why don't you come up and join the staff?" And I said, "Well, I'm running this high school program in Baltimore." And he said, yeah, but why don't you come up and join the staff? And so I met him at the bowl game. That was the Citrus Bowl that year, right, where we beat the brakes off of Florida. And we met in his hotel room, and we were demonstrating offensive line blocking techniques on a dresser that was in his hotel room. And then it was kind of love ever after that. And then I was here. That was what, 16, Dave? 16. And then Baltimore had a little bit of an issue in the city with a young fella getting killed by the police, and city kind of blew up. And I said to Jim, I love it, but I got to go back. And so we started this program in the city, St. Francis Academy. And then we were going on there. I was very happy there. And then he called me at the end of 2020 and said, "I'd really like you to come back." So I came back, and then it's kind of been, to me, Michigan, I've been a lot of places. I've coached a lot of places. I've played. But Michigan, to me, is honestly, it's just like home, man. I feel like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. I just want to go home, and Michigan is like that for me. It's just so comfortable. The people here are wonderful, and then this situation. I got fired at Charlotte, and Sharon gave me a call and was like, "Come up to the Northwestern game," and I said, "Okay." I came up, and then we spoke, and he asked me to come back and do this, and so I wanted to do it. And the other thing is I've had a great relationship with Ward, Manuel, and Doug, and so it feels right here.
We're gonna go on the left there with Anthony.
I guess what have you been impressed by with this team's player leadership so far? I know you were gone for a few years, but some really good player leaders the last time you were here. How do those guys compare to what you're seeing here now?
Well, we've always had really good player leadership here, 17, 21, 22, obviously 20, 23. There's great player leadership here. Starts with our captains. And I would say those guys are the heartbeat of the football team. And it's not easy to be a captain because you have to be willing to be respected and not liked. And that's hard for any of us. We all like to be liked. But the leadership is excellent. And I will say this about your question. Make no mistake about it. It's been this way since day one, since football ever started. Coaches do not win games. Players do. It's all about the players. And, it's not the plays. It's not who's smart, who's this. And that's doesn't matter. And we've got great leadership and great players.
On the right here, Larry.
Big Ten opener this week. Can I just get your thoughts on the conference? I know you're focused on Nebraska now, but I'm sure you pay attention around the conference. Anything jump out at you as you look at this huge conference with a bunch of good teams?
Yeah, it's got a lot of great teams, doesn't it? And it is huge. And probably that's the way the future is going to be in conference alignment in football. But the league is ridiculous. It's incredible. Anybody can beat anybody. And, Nebraska watched all their tape, and I think they're really good. They have a really good football team. It's interesting. I realized I know so many guys on the staff. When I was a coach at Charlotte, the first day I was in my seat there, the first phone call I got was from Matt Rule, welcoming me to Charlotte, and was so kind and welcoming and helpful. And then Dana Holgerson, I coached his son for a bit at St. Francis. Ron Brown, Bill Bush. I know a bunch of the guys there, so it'll be good to see them. But they've done a really good job with their team.
On the right here, Aaron.
Biff, when we spoke to Sharon this time last week, he still sounded reluctant to run Bryce Underwood, just kind of unleash him. What changed between Monday and Saturday?
I don't think anything changed. I think, look, you start learning about your team. It takes a while to learn about your team when you transition from spring ball to summer to camp. You really start learning the most when the games play. And I think what we're learning is what I said over here. Coaches don't win games. Plays don't win games. Players win games. And you have to let your players play. So we're letting them play. All of them.
Back right, Andrew.
Biff, you made it clear after the last game, that you and the players, what it meant to not have Sharon there. But obviously the reason he wasn't is because it was a school-imposed suspension. So I guess is the thought of the program that was unfair? I guess why the emotions of him not being absent?
Oh, because he's so well loved. And I will describe Sharon this way. I have children his age, so and we met in 2000. We've known each other for a long time, and we've talked constantly over the years, and very rarely is about football. It's always about life and kids. And I will say this to you, and I I mean no disrespect at all to anybody. Football does not attract typically a bunch of nature's noblemen. Football is a game where most adults in it are looking to get to the next level, the next job, the next paycheck, and may say that they love and care about their players, and I'm sure they do. But this guy, I've never seen anything like it in my life. So when he's out, it is an enormous void in the building because of the heart-to-heart human relationship factor, if that makes any sense to you.
Back right, Charles.
Yeah, what have you seen from Dylan Raiola, and what will it take to defend a player with his ability?
Man, he's a really good player, isn't he? He's been one for a long time, too. Thought he had a great high school career, obviously, was highly rated. I thought he played really well his first year at Nebraska. I think he's very polished and very dangerous.
And what can Bryce use from his first road start at Oklahoma going into this week?
Well, everything stacks, doesn't it? And Nebraska's, I don't know if there's a harder place to play than Nebraska. Fans are very loud. The stadium is loud, very raucous. They'll obviously be very excited. And what Bryce has to learn, and I think Bryce learned this, just be Bryce. You're not playing against the stadium. There's 11. They got 11. We got 11. And everything else is just, noise.
And right here, Tony.
Yeah, Biff, a couple quick ones. First, you talked about going to the Northwestern game last year, and you and Sharon sort of talking about coming back on staff. Obviously, the suspension wasn't announced at that time, but was there some underlying feeling that something like that might happen? Was that why you were brought back specifically?
I don't think so. I hope not. But I don't think anybody knew. I certainly didn't know, what was going on. No, I just came back because I think he asked me, and quite frankly, I personally needed a little bit of Michigan healing after what I went through. So.
And then one more on Nebraska. Outside of Raiola, I guess, what else does Nebraska do well?
I love their running back. He's a guy whose yards after contact are ridiculous, has unbelievable balance. Think about Nebraska. When you think about Nebraska, these are the things that this team has. They are big and physical on the offensive line. They have really good body-up receivers. Defensively, there's a lot of movement. Their defensive line is stout as can be. And, they take great pride in their defense there, the whole black shirts, movement there, and they're real good. I mean, look at what they've done. I don't care who you play. I don't care who you play. The results are the results, and they've got it going. And Matt is a tremendous coach. You've all seen the statistics. Everywhere Matt's been in his third year has been, tremendous. So he's got the football team. He's won them over. He's got the staff he wants. He's got a lot of good players.
On the left, Ryan.
Yeah, first off, just real quick, how much resistance did the dresser provide in demonstrating blocking schemes with Jim?
The dresser took a beating. Took a beating.
And then one more with a TJ guy. I guess how hard what's the challenges of keeping him engaged, being a starter and not seeing the field, and do you expect him to play on Saturday?
Oh, he's a team guy. He's really a team guy. He gets the differences in game plans, and he'll be totally fine. He'll have a great game this weekend. I got no issues about that.
In the back right, Angelique.
Biff, how much of the game plan did Sharon for Nebraska did Sharon sketch out, and also how much will you have? How much will your fingerprints be on this one? And also you mentioned Raiola being dangerous. What makes him dangerous?
I'll go from the back to the first because I can't remember that long. What makes him dangerous? He has a huge football IQ. He's one of the few young guys that can actually sit in the pocket and make the right reads. I mean, the kid can throw the football, right? And he finds open windows, and he's a good enough runner that if you are undisciplined in your lanes, he can extend a play and keep your defense on the field. I also think when you watch the tape, you realize that everybody rallies around him. It's kind of his football team, it looks like from the film. Sharon is a very organized, detailed football coach. He, before he left, gave us a strict menu of what he wants to see. And as I said to you before, think of him as Tiger Woods, and I'm the old guy with the fluffy mustache caddying for him. So we're gonna keep it the way he wants it.
And if I could slip in one more, how much did Saturday whet your appetite to be a head coach again? Would you want to do that?
No.
Was it distasteful?
Excuse me?
Was it that distasteful at Charlotte that you don't want to do this again?
Well, I'm not going to say anything about them. No, I don't want to say anything about that. I just say this, that I want to spend a lot more time with my little grandchildren. Yeah.
Thanks for your 5-part
I
question.
know. I know.
More. Come over here. I got 7 people in the queue, so don't ask for any more, please, because we're going to be running out of time. But Dennis, I'm going to start with you on the right.
I got a quick 2-parter then for you. How much of a green light does Underwood have against Nebraska to run, and how much have you coached him on finishing off the runs or sliding, that piece of it? Because it looks like he's pretty good.
He got a green light to do whatever he wants because he's one of the great playmakers, I think, in the country. You can coach competitors to slide, and it's good that they do. This kid's a football player, and if we could hit stop and everything would stop, we'd run out on the field and get him down, but we can't. So he's gonna finish those runs.
How happy are you with the operation on the punt return, everything that's going on?
Say that again.
Punt return, the operation, how happy are you with everything that's going on there? Samaj had some, I don't know, he ran into some.
Yeah, we're going to clean that up. We'll clean that up a little bit. We're still trying to figure out, who we want back there and some of our mechanics back there, but that certainly wasn't a great look, but we'll get that fixed.
On the left, Sean.
Coach, I know you've been to this high school in Charlotte, different levels, but what is this like? What did that feel like going out with the team Saturday, talking to us after the game, standing here right now in this spot?
Well, to be very honest with you, I was quite anxious during the week, and my anxiety was from not wanting to let Sharon down or any of the Michigan fans down or do anything like that. As soon as I hit the tunnel, I realized I've done this 300 and some times, and football's football, honestly. It's whether you're playing it out back and there's nobody there, or you're playing it in the biggest stadium in the country, whether it's Pop Warner or the NFL, it's all just football. And if you're a football guy, it's just football, and that's the truth.
Right here.
Going back to Coach Warren being out from the sideline, how have you kind of kept the team's leadership and focus steady going into a big game like Nebraska?
Well, the assistant coaches obviously do a good job with that because they're with their units and their position groups much more than the head coach is. So a big part of it is the assistant coaches. And the way that works, as you know, is the coordinators and the units and then the position coaches in their rooms. But we have great leadership within the team. And I'll just repeat this. I mean, what makes me excited about this week is I've coached some teams where you go, oh, geez. You don't know what you're kind of going to get. What makes me excited is that these are the guys we're coaching. So whatever happens, win, lose, or draw, you're getting your absolute best from a group of fantastic kids, and you can't ask for anything more than that. So I hope that answers your question.
On the left, Chris?
Coach, about Rod, he hasn't played in a long time. What kind of a difference maker can he still be back there, and what specifically can he help with on the back end of the defense?
Did you mention Rod?
Yeah.
Rod has maybe one of the highest football IQs in the building. And now, of course, there's rust to knock off, right? But we'll try not to put him in situations that are, we'll manage reps and all those kind of things. But because listen, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We don't ever want to put him in a situation that's bad for him, certainly physically or emotionally or mentally. But I got to tell you something. If you had to take a guy that hadn't played a while and throw him in a game, it'd be that dude.
And then the guards, again, is Jake going to still be in line to start even with Brady coming back? And are those guys interchangeable left and right?
The guards can all play the guard positions. We'll have to wait and see how practice goes for who's going to be starting. But Jake played very well. I think very well. I think the offensive line played well. And it's going to be obviously a much tougher test. And I'm sure you guys got a chance to look at film, but they've got a bunch of guys. But yes, we're going to stick with that. We'll figure out probably Thursday or so who's going to be able to start there.
All right, Austin.
Biff, I don't know how well you knew Jay Sean in high school.
I coached him in high school.
He was at St. Francis.
Yeah.
So that scary, intense demeanor he has on the field, is that all the time, or is there a softer side to him that you've seen?
He's a beautiful kid. He really is a beautiful kid. He doesn't say much, a quiet person, but a deep thinker, and has a beautiful, wonderful heart. And I think between him and Derek Moore and a lot of the kids on the team, Justice and a bunch of them, they're kind of, just to tell you what kind of EQ they have, I think they're looking at me like their elderly Italian grandfather taking care of me. So, but on the field, when they get between the lines, forget it. He is what you see.
All right, last two questions, Aaron and Sam.
You mentioned getting that call from Matt Rule when you got the job at Charlotte. What's your relationship like with him, and have you heard from him in the last week?
No, but I plan to reach out to him today. I have a great relationship with him. I really like him. I think he's a very kind guy, and a very giving guy, and an excellent coach. So, yeah, I know a bunch of guys there.
Last question, Sam.
What do you see from Justice Haynes in practice that allows him to be so consistent every week?
He's ultra competitive. He's very bright. He has obviously unbelievable athletic skills, but he's the kind of kid that he wants the football, and he wants the football, and you want him to have the football as a coach. I think he's one of the top backs in the country, if not the top back.